Choose a family, choose a fucking big television, choose washing machines, cars, compact displays and electrical tin openers. Fuck this. Hello ladies and gentlemen, today's review is taking place in a weird location. I am now at university and this is my room in my flat in Bath, which is away. So this is where you're going to be seeing reviews kind of taking place from now on. I mean, you'll probably have the odd one in other places, but mostly they'll be happening here. And today's review is going to be of the film V for Vendetta. It stars Natalie Portman and another rather famous actor who plays V, which is the main character. Some people view him as a terrorist, others view him as a freedom fighter. He kind of wears like a black cape thing, and he has black hair down to about shoulder level, and he always wears a Guy Fawkes mask. And that he's very English and he's a really cool character, but he's actually played by Hugo Weaving. He starred in The Matrix as Agent Smith and also in Lord of the Rings. Was the King of the Elves. I can't remember what his name is. Elrond. Am I right? I don't know, something like that. The plot is very basically, it's kind of the not too distant future. I think we're talking around 2021, something like that. And basically England, Great Britain, has become a fascist state. It's very dystopian. Dystopian is the opposite of utopia. Utopia is a perfect world. A dystopia is a world where the people inhabiting it are led to believe that it's a utopia, a perfect world, but where it actually isn't. Without giving too much away, V is a character who decides he wants to blow up Parliament, just like Guy Fawkes did back on the 5th of November, a long time ago. The whole Guy Fawkes thing, if you don't know about that, I'll put a link to the Wikipedia about Guy Fawkes. It's basically a guy who plotted to use gunpowder to blow up the House of Parliament, which is kind of the government, central government in England. And this V character wants to blow up Parliament and end the whole fascist thing that's in England. And he does. There's something very important when you watch this film, is that there's no doubt in your mind. The character states somewhere very early on what he's going to do. He's going to blow up Parliament, and at no point do you doubt that that's going to happen. It's more about how it happens. So that it happens, it's just really cool how it all leads up to it, and it's kind of a bit of a mystery. It's really interesting. I really can't go into that much depth on the plot because it would give it away. It's one of those things, because it is quite mysterious. If I say loads of stuff, it'll ruin it for you. The cast is primarily British, except for of course Natalie Portman, but she had like dialect lessons from some person, and her English accent is very good in this film. The whole English thing in this film is very overplayed. The majority of the Daily Movie Critics channel viewers are American. I'd just like to let you know that we don't all really speak like English people do in films. It's not all very, we're not English and we speak like this and we want tea all the time. But no, there's loads of different accents in England. In this film they all portray very stereotypical English accents. They do talk very properly, but it's kind of cool. It does overplay the whole English thing, and it is all about the whole dictatorship, the fascism and all that, and it's very politically based, but not in a boring way. Like, I'm not really into political films and stuff like that, but it's kind of cool. It's futuristic. It is heavily influenced by George Orwell's 1984. It's a book, you may have heard of it. If not, I'll put a link to that below. It's directed by a guy called James McTee. He did The Matrix, things like that. Yeah, it's very well directed. The whole film is really fun to watch. It's really engaging. Everything's thought out really meticulously. It's very clever. The film itself was written by Andy Wachowski and I think his sister Lana Wachowski. You may recognise the name because they wrote The Matrix, so that's how that ties into that. But it is based on a comic book. Like The Matrix was very heavily based on the anime Ghost in the Shell. V for Vendetta was originally a comic book, and it's based on that. The original writer of the comic book, I think his name's Andy Moore or something like that, he actually had his name removed from the credits of the film because he didn't feel it gave across the same messages as his comic book did. He says his comic book is more about anarchy versus fascism, whereas this film is more about some just other things, and he seems to feel that this film has been kind of tamed a little bit. But I don't know, I haven't read the comic book and I love this film. The characters are really cool. V is an awesome character. When you find out all about his storyline and everything in it, it's really clever, and there's loads and loads of trivia like you can look up about it, and loads of interesting stuff. It's just a really rich film, so it's really fun. I would give it probably an 8 or 9 out of 10, probably close to 9 actually. Yeah, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10 just because it really clicked with me. IMDb gives it an 8.2 out of 10, so that's where that stands. But I mean, if you think it sounds interesting, it's kind of slightly futuristic, dystopian, mystery, thriller kind of thing. If you think that sounds interesting, then go check it out, because it's really good. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you again next week.